Katie Mazer from Purdue University. Although I was the first author on the integrated hydrologic and hydraulic analysis of torrential flood hazard in Arequipa paper, this effort was one of the most collaborative papers I've been a part of. Let me give you a quick snapshot of the many different brains working behind the curtain. There was me, who coordinated writing and ran HICRAS modeling, Abby Tomasek, who provided some hazard assessment, Farah Borzaneshwar, who created and ran the SWOT hydrologic models, Laura Bowling, a statistical hydrologist, Jane Frankenberger, an extension specialist in watershed management, Sarah McMillan, an ecological engineer, Hector Novoa, a civil engineer with a background in hydraulics, and Carlos Ceballos, an architect who is transforming how Arequipa, Peru, views its ephemeral streams. The interdisciplinary nature of this work highlighted that many different skill sets can be pulled together to accomplish a single goal. We looked at the torrenteras, which are ephemeral streams that convey damaging torrential flow during summer storms. Torrentera behavior is difficult to predict because there is no historical flow data from these streams, and rainfall records only show daily data, which is not enough to capture the short and intense rain events that lead to hazards like inundation, bank slope failure, and super fast flows. The method in the paper of developing a simulated precipitation and stream flow dataset allowed us to identify patterns in torrentera behavior and pinpoint locations where flood-related hazards existed. With this, we were able to provide valuable and previously unattainable information to planners and emergency responders that could be used to prioritize high-risk areas for future disaster mitigation. These leaders could also engage with community members to educate them on areas to avoid and ways that they can protect themselves and their families during these crazy storms.
I guess my dissertation research focused mostly on drinking water and the specific point of drinking water where it transitions from being distributed in really big pipes to entering a home or a building. We looked at what changes when the water hits that point. So what changes chemically, biologically, physically, and typically homes, because you're bringing in less water than a water main, you're going to have small pipes, you're going to have water that sits a lot, so it's like a start and go versus that heavy flow that's distributed. And all of that will change what grows in the water and how the water tastes, how the disinfectant is maintained. One of my chapters looks at lead, and so being on the ground in Flint during that beginning of that crisis, continuing to look at conditions we identified there that were helping Legionella, the pathogen that causes Legionnaire's disease, to grow, seeing if we could replicate that in the lab. So getting a more controlled experiment going to say, okay, if we changed the pH slightly, how did that affect what was going on in those pipes and in those buildings? So, and that kind of brought everything back around to where I started my research, which was just looking at a broad range of any chemistry and any pipe material with Blacksburg tap water. And so we had kind of two different groupings of experiments, the more controlled ones, and then that field work that was really focused at Flint. One of the prompts asked about recent adventures, which there have been very few. Yeah, I would say normally I love to travel, and my husband, and we travel a lot, especially before kids. And so we've been kind of stationary, other than moving. We've been trying to get our garden established, so we're kind of starting from scratch again. We have chickens, so those provide much entertainment for us and the 2-year-old that we have running around. Yeah, we love being outside.
Hello everyone, I'm Saubhagya Singh Rathod. I'm postdoctoral researcher at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. I finished my PhD from Georgia Tech in spring 2020. Originally, I am from state of Rajasthan in India. I like to do outdoor activities. I love hiking, kayaking, some bird watching, and also play tennis and ultimate frisbee. At indoors, I like to enjoy some chai while listening to Indian classical music. Now let's talk about my PhD research, which was focused on seawater intrusion in coastal groundwater resources. Seawater, being heavier than freshwater, slides into the freshwater and intrudes landward, threatening the fresh groundwater resources. The soil properties under the ground surface vary significantly in space and have significant impacts on the extent of seawater intrusion and related hydrodynamic processes. Controls of this spatial variation in properties on seawater intrusion process is not well understood because of lack of analytical solutions and computationally expensive variable density flow simulations. My PhD work resulted in a novel analytical framework which identified a simple parameter that accounts for the effects of heterogeneity in the hydraulic conductivity on seawater intrusion. Solutions based on this framework provides a quick way to compute key quantities like extent of seawater intrusion and freshwater flow into the sea, essential for management of groundwater resources, and also to predict near coast water quality. These solutions can guide seawater intrusion control strategies, allow us to quantify uncertainties, and upscale the field properties for large-scale simulations of coastal groundwater systems.
In my thesis, we tried to understand how droughts impact water availability in different sources of water, such as water stored in soils, aquifers, rivers, and also man-made reservoirs. We showed that the impact of droughts on natural and human water-dependent systems varies significantly from one region to another. For example, if we consider the impact of drought on soil moisture, which is very important for agriculture, we found the impact is more severe in places in parts of central and western United States, which is more important from ecological point of view. The impacts are more severe in eastern parts of United States. As I mentioned, in some places we are seeing soil being affected more rather than the flow in the river. So in those regions, we need monitoring of soil moisture for the farmers. Whereas if you are talking about impact on stream flow, which is ecologically important, there we need to modify our reservoir operation rules so that there is sufficient water in the river even during the dry periods. And we further combined these results with the analysis of ongoing trends in droughts, and we identified two regions in the United States, Southwest and Southeast US, where the drought risk is increasing. Our suggestion is that the drought risk management should be prioritized in this region, at least in the near-term future. My recent adventure was the last trip from US to India after completing PhD, because it was adventurous because there were so many hurdles and regulations at every point, that every state, every country having different rules. And I think I was total 28 days in quarantine in different places. Very tough experience. Has a good side that when it is over, then we can enjoy a little more.
Hello, I'm Cully Hessian. I'm a professor in biological systems engineering here at Virginia Tech, and I'm here to thank you, UCOWR, for awarding me the 2021 Education and Public Service Award. I'm here at the Virginia Tech Stream Lab, which is downstream of campus and the town of Blacksburg. And it's 85 acres and about 2 miles of stream, where we do research, education, and outreach. And without this lab, I don't get the award. So as you can see, I have my plaque at the lab at one of our monitoring stations. And I want to thank everybody who helps at the Stream Lab, including Laura Lehman and Cully Clan students, undergrad and grad students. And I want to thank again UCOWR for the award. Thank you. Bye.
Congratulations, Nicole, for being named Friend of UCOWR. You certainly are one of our best friends. I want to thank you for your service to the board. It was so wonderful serving with you. Your contributions and energy were amazing. You probably recognize this virtual screen photo. It's a photo of our pyramid of deliverables from our strategic plan. Your name is written all over it, literally. Your contributions were so valuable. You helped keep us on track and develop a good and deliverable strategic plan. Thank you so much for all of your contributions.
It is a pleasure to provide our full team's congratulations to Nicole Wilkinson McIntosh. Nicole's many talents not only improved UCOWR's programming, but she also was a key team member here in North Carolina as well. Nicole is a convener and a facilitator extraordinaire. Nicole also strives to increase meaningful engagement from individuals with diverse perspectives. Nicole supported the development of ongoing impactful research and education here in North Carolina with our institute, as she has done with UCOWR.
Congratulations, Nicole, on being recognized as a friend of UCOWR. I always enjoyed our time together on the board of directors. It always seemed like the projects you were working on were the liveliest and the most fun. Of course, that was due to your thorough planning and innovative delivery, whether it was strategic planning or lightning rounds with the delegates.
Hi, Nicole. Just wanted to say a big thank you for all you've done for UCOWR, the work you've done over the many years. You and I have both been on the board, from strategic planning to improving the delegate luncheon to all the work you've done with students to make that a much better experience for them as well. Really appreciate everything you've done for the organization. Thanks so much.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for your many efforts and contributions to UCOWR and the UCOWR Board of Directors. Your work with strategic planning and conferences was invaluable, as was your work to increase the UCOWR delegate engagement.
Hi, Nicole. I want to thank you for all of the things that you've done for the UCOWR community over the years. I will always remember the level of energy and enthusiasm that you've brought to things like the delegate luncheon, but also how much fun we've had doing things like sliding down a snowy hill slope in Park City.
I'm Ali Mirchi. I'm an assistant professor of water resources engineering at Oklahoma State University's Department of Biosystems and Agricultural Engineering. One of the projects, a project that was led by the University of Texas at El Paso, it looked at climate change impacts on the regional water resources in the middle section of Rio Grande. In that project, we conducted model-based assessments of what the future might hold for the region in terms of growing water security challenges for the agricultural sector. We're sharing these results with the stakeholders and allowing them to see how they may think about transitioning into more uncertain futures in terms of water availability, a future that might require farmers to be prepared to use more saline groundwater resources because of diminishing surface water resources and river water availability. Given the fact that these resources are also limited, the region may need to be prepared to face depleting aquifers towards the second half of the 21st century. So all of those are really critical questions that have to do with our natural resource management and sustainability of our food production. I'm very happy to be a contributor and collaborator on that project. In a pre-COVID world, I had the pleasure of participating in a symposium organized by National Academy of Sciences in Morocco, and a good friend and collaborator of mine from University of California, Irvine, and myself, we had about a day left after the conference, and we hopped into a car and drove for maybe 12 hours each end to go to visit the northern edge of the Sahara. A lot of time in the car and spent 30 minutes on the northern edge of the Sahara and made it back. But I think it was quite worth it. It was an adventure that I won't forget.
Hello, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed the conference so far, and I wish that I get to see you hopefully in person next year. My name is Amir Haqverdi. I'm an assistant professor of irrigation and water management and cooperative extension in the Environmental Sciences Department of the University of California, Riverside. My research and extension work is mainly focused on irrigation, both landscape irrigation and agricultural water management. And my group works on a wide range of topics mainly related to implementation of cutting edge technology, variable rate irrigation, smart irrigation controllers in urban settings, GPS, GIS technologies, and application of artificial intelligence models to analyze big data, particularly related to precision agriculture. I'm recording this the background is actually some of our research plots in UC Riverside, but like most of you, I spent the last year, a bit more than a year, staying home, working remotely. So I taught my classes and delivered my presentations here from my bedroom, and I'm glad that I got a chance to actually record this video as well. I got the Early Career Research Award, and that means a lot. Of course, it's going to give me energy to keep working on water conservation related projects, which is especially timely and important in Western United States in general, and in California, as we are experiencing severe drought.
Hello, everyone. I'm coming to you remotely from sunny Las Cruces, New Mexico. My name is Kenneth Carroll. I'm Associate Professor in Plant and Environmental Sciences at New Mexico State University. Most of my career has been mainly focused on cleaning up groundwater contaminants, but I think that is very important for human health as we all drink groundwater. Some of the other areas that I'd like to highlight with my research, one project looking at recycling of our natural resources in deep space, where we have very limited ability to obtain other natural resources. We used pyrolysis to transform space waste into a crop growth medium for food production, and we looked at the recycling of water and nutrients. We've also been examining water sustainability in the arid areas or semi-arid areas of New Mexico and Southwest United States. As you know, there's a drought that's been really impacting the Southwest United States. We looked at conjunctive water use, both surface water and groundwater, along the Rio Grande, where irrigated agriculture is looking at growing the crops in New Mexico. And we developed some novel metrics to support water sustainability in this area. We've also been looking at developing alternative water sources to increase our water resources. One of the areas that's highly challenging for developing a new area of water resources is in the water that's produced from oil and gas. That water is an unused water resource, but it's mainly disposed of. And the reason for that is it's very poor water quality. So we've been looking at water treatment alternatives to see if we might be able to use some of that water for other beneficial uses. One fun fact, I originally started my love for natural sciences with field trips to the Grand Canyon and New Zealand that occurred in my freshman year in college. So those field trips are really important for inspiring the next generation.
really grateful and honored about this award that was given to me by the University Council of Water Resources. It's not an easy task, but I am grateful that I have got the support of our administrators and most especially my family, who are very patient and loving in understanding that our job demands a lot of our time and effort in the field, and trying to really get to know some of the farmers and their issues. And as you know, when you are traveling, you cannot be always with your family. But as a fun fact about me, I do not usually travel alone. I am accompanied most of the time by my family. My daughter's family. Like this, that you will find in my luggage if I am traveling, or this that you will still find in my luggage if I am traveling. So I know that I am with them and they are with me in one way or another. So that's just a nice way for me to connect. But seriously, I am really thankful about the support of my family. Offer this award also to all the farmers who are doing their best to manage the water that they have, whether it is above ground or underground, because we know that it is not easy. And we are here as professionals to help you, because even though we know that there is water, sometimes it is not delivered at the right time, at the right place, at the right form, and even at the right quality. So to all of the professionals out there, let's support them. Thank you very much.